All right, last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use Flexbox to make a layout. Okay, here I have a simple company layout. So this is gonna be the logo. This is gonna be the nav bar. This is gonna be the social media bar. Okay, then there's kind of the splash area with some text in the center. There's this is like the products, and each product gets its own little thing, and I want them to stay kind of in the sort of horizontal center here. And then once again, there's kind of a 3-column layout here in the footer. Okay. So I've already done a lot of sort of the sort of setup. I didn't want, and we'll have a lab about this later. But let's go back. Oops. What happened? Sorry. All right, so here's the page. I already wrote a lot of the CSS. Most of the CSS here is really just it's not the layout, it's mostly just the style, like background colors and spacing and stuff like that. But we can kind of just take a look. All right, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is the header, this is the splash area. These are the items area, they're all stacking on each other, and then this is my footer. Okay. So let's start to use Flexbox to kind of lay things out. So I want to have a 3-column layout. So you can see that my header is already divided into 3 elements, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to use this internal for now. And let's say header. And let's make this into a Flexbox. Display flex. All right. Looks pretty good. Problem is all of my items are at the top left. Now I could do maybe I could use justify content. I could put it at the, end if that's what I wanted. But I don't really want that. I want them kind of evenly spaced out. So maybe let's do a justify content space evenly. I think I'm going to do space around. I don't want it to go all the way to the edge. Okay, so there's a little bit of space there. There's a little bit of space there, and then there's a block here. And it's flexible. So even if this becomes bigger or smaller, it still keeps its columns, This, I want to be in the vertical horizontal center. So this always moves around. So this is the splash area. So let's come in here and I can say splash. Let's make this into a Flexbox. And I will say justify content center. So what that's going to do is it's going to make this a Flexbox. It's going to defaultly be a row or horizontal. So the center would be here. So if I save and I refresh, it's a class, not an ID. There you go. So that's the horizontal center. If I want to get in the vertical center, that would be align items center. Okay. So it doesn't matter how big or how small this is, this will always be in the center. Okay. I want these items to always remain in the center. So these are all, all of these sections are inside of this master div called items. So I'm going to say items and display flex. That's going to make them go like this. I kind of want to put them a little space from each other. So let's do a gap of maybe like 15 pixels. Okay. Now this is flex start. This would be flex end. I want them in the center. So that would be justify content center. Okay. So what's nice about this is even if I later come back and I add an item, let's just add one by just copying and pasting some HTML, and I come back, It adds it, but everything automatically distributes, you know? If I want these to be in the center, like it is, each class, I need to put it in the vertical center or the horizontal and vertical center. So that'd be, once again, item, flex. You can see we're kind of reusing, you know, it's kind of, we get a lot of the same content here. Justify content, center. That will do the horizontal. And then I want to put it in the vertical. That would be the align items in this case. Oops, save, refresh. Oops. Oh, center, not flex. There we go. Okay. And then like here, I want this to kind of be kind of the same thing. So that is the footer. Let's take the footer, display flex, and then let's do justify content. And I'm also going to set that to space around. Okay. So this is a flexible design. You can see that when I make this bigger or smaller, you know, it's flexible. Now, watch what happens when, you know, when this gets really small, this starts not quite working the way that I want it to. I'd like it to do something where if, you know, if I have a lot of items here and this gets smaller, I'd like them to start wrapping to kind of break into multiple lines. So that was the items. So why don't we set the items to, remember we did that flex wrap, wrap. Okay, so now what happens is when this gets smaller, it'll start to wrap the items. All right. So this is getting what we're eventually going to be calling a responsive design. Okay. So, you know, this is a good use of Flexbox to make a flexible design.